کشور افغان میهن شیران قلب جهان.
After the Taliban took over Afghanistan, what they have created in the name of Islam is horrifying. And the fact that the rest of the world is not standing up to them and saying, do not call yourself Muslim because I am one and I disagree with everything you do. Everybody looked at me and said, I am crazy. Impossible. Because I'm going to shoot a movie in a war zone. A woman, that women are just simply not allowed to even walk on the streets. How dangerous it became, I have to say I was surprised. The day that I felt I need to write this film was the day that I saw on television that the Taliban blew up the Buddha statues. You have to show to these people that you are not scared. Because the moment they feel weakness, they thrive on that. They're uneducated, they're ignorant, they're fanatic, they're wild. These qualities are terrifying because you're not talking with a sensible human being. I was born in Kabul, Afghanistan. And I came to the United States as a teenager after the Soviet invasion of 1979. All of a sudden you see Russian tanks. Men are sitting on each side of your door with gun pointed at you. That's when you realize what freedom means. Coming to America, I felt like, I can do something. So who's the president? Reagan. Let me write a letter to him. I remember 3 or 4 people from that office said to me, says, oh, you're so sweet. He's the president of the United States. He's not going to call. And he called me. The day that I went to meet President Reagan was the day that my life changed permanently. I knew that because I had a feeling that you can do anything. But he said to me, he said, one person can change the world. And I absolutely believed that. It was unbelievable, that moment in time, how a country under such an unbelievable suppression of Russians freed itself with the help of the United States. They took Osama bin Laden, which was CIA trained, to Afghanistan to help with the Mujahideen to kick the Soviet Union out of Afghanistan. The mistake was that we didn't go and collect all our weapons that we had given to him, and we didn't collect him back to send him back to where he belonged, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, wherever he came from. I did this movie for the people of Afghanistan and for the world to see, to give them hope, to remind them about what their country used to be like. There is no movie unless there is a great story. I had gone to Afghanistan to do a documentary called The Breadwinner. I found a little restaurant that was like a hole in the wall. And there was a woman, and she said, my father had a bookstore. It used to be called the Poets Corner. And every Thursday night, he would do a poetry reading. And the Russians came in front of my sister and I. They killed my father. I remember looking up at that sign that was getting ready to get on fire. And I said to myself, one day I'm going to open a restaurant and I'm going to put a microphone in the restaurant so people can eat and listen to poetry. A year and 4 months later, I went back to Kabul and the restaurant was gone. I said, what happened? I said, oh, such a sad story. They went for a wedding. And in the wedding in Afghanistan, they shoot guns up in the air for celebration. They did that, and the Americans bombed and killed 43 people because they thought they were Taliban and shooting at the Americans. So the entire family got killed. Couldn't sleep, start thinking about this woman, about this family, her dream. And then I said to myself, what if she opened a restaurant today in Kabul?
Jesus Christ.
The attack was on a UN guest house.
Yeah.
By the way, there are still hostages.
Our hotel isn't safe, our guest house isn't safe.
We had between 50 to 95 bodyguards, depending where we were shooting.
It was almost like a sniper. It was pow!
Yeah, not us, man. We were full machine gun fire, and I'm not talking just like AKs. I'm talking like heavier machine gun.
The first security company was the most terrifying meeting I've ever had in my life. They took me through a basement. They locked me in a room with these 3 guys sitting there and saying, you give us $25,000 right now so we could sit and talk to you about security. The corruption is so beyond words. It is so upfront, it's so vulgar. It's not like under the table, a little here, a little there. No, 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 it's right there. It's like, give it to me now. Every day, this big coat that I had taken the goose out and I had bundles of hundreds of dollars, just like on side of me, on my coat. Everybody was calling it the $1 million coat. Yeah, I was wearing that coat all day long. That's where my cash was. And the coat got completely empty and more. I knew what acting was. I've acted before. Definitely didn't want to do it in this film. And I literally, absolutely had no choice. It's such a sad subject, but for the first time I saw a woman in Kabul wearing open-toe shoes, painted toes, and she was wearing a red scarf and a beautiful pantsuit. And I said, what are you doing here? You're beautiful. Oh, you're an actress. And she said, yeah, I've done some things in Pakistan. I said, well, that's fantastic because you're so perfect for this part that I am writing. And 5 months before going to Kabul, she stopped responding to my phone calls. So it's the last day of deciding what to do. And I was just getting ready to go to bed. I called her from my Afghan cell number. And this time she answered the phone. She goes, oh, do not call me, do not call me. Remember I told you I did a movie anti-Taliban? And I said, yeah. And she said, they chopped my feet. So I can't be on any movie anymore. And when I said, I want to come and see you, where are you? She said, no, 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 it's dangerous for me, my family, everybody. So don't call me, stay away from me. I shared it with one of the actors in my movie. I'm not going to mention his name because he lives in Afghanistan. And he says there's 2 male actors, male, that they've chopped their legs. And nobody can pass by them. Nobody can go visit them, nothing, because they're just sitting there waiting who's going to come and visit, and they're going to do the same to that person. So I saw a bookstore that looked perfect for the shoot. It's around 9 o'clock, we're shooting. And all of a sudden, a Taliban Toyota pickup truck comes. It's intimidation, you know, blowing dust and dirt all over you, and then they're slamming the brake really hard, and dum dum dum, they're just jumping out of the truck. I just heard a couple of the bodyguards saying, oh my God, in Dari. Everybody was pulling back. Nobody was going forward to them, except one guy. We called him Rambo, this Afghan bodyguard. He was looked just like Rambo. He went forward and he says, may I help you? And he says, who is in charge here? And he said, she is. He looked again at him and said, I said, who's in charge? And he said, she is. I went. And I said, what do you want? And he said, the infidels are touching the holy books. It turns out that the bookstore was all holy books of Quran. I had not a second to look at what quality of books they were. And he said, you should all die. And I saw David McFarlane turning away from the camera. I said, just keep shooting. Just pretend nothing is happening. Just keep shooting. And I said, do you know what I'm doing? And he said, no. I said, do you remember when Soviet Union took over this country? And then you guys came and kicked them out with Osama bin Laden? I said, the film is about that. See, these are Russians. See, Russian car, Russian uniform, Russian hat. He looks and he goes, oh, it's anti-Russian. Oh, yeah, we like that. And I don't know what made me just have a negotiation with them. Thank God for that, because I found out that they are not smart. You could outsmart them. You could play with them. You could use them, and they wouldn't even know it. There are things in life that is worth taking all those chances for. This is one of them. I wouldn't have not been in peace, and I wouldn't have not known another life. This was my mission. I was born to do this. Girls and women, they couldn't believe it. And you don't know how many men and women and young and old came to me and said, "This is amazing. Do you know how much hope you're giving us? If you can do this, I can do that." A lot of that. A lot of that. I still get about 100, 200 emails from Afghans around the world, from Americans, women, saying you did something that, we never thought a woman could do.
Cut!
I want the American people in the world to see the truth about the Afghan people. I want them to see the beauty of my country, who these people are, the culture of this country that nobody has seen before, and for people to leave identifying the enemy and what are we fighting for. I'm honored to be an American today. And I want to make sure this country is safe. This is my new home. And I don't want what happened to my country to ever happen here. That's another reason I made the movie. We can't sit here in the West just because it's not happening to us to pretend it's not happening. We're all human race, we're all human beings. We have to help each other.
So we fight for our freedom, Afghanistan, the land that we love. Yes, we fight for our freedom, Afghanistan, and never give up. کشور افغان میهن شیران قلب جهان کشور افغان میهن شیران قلب جهان. So we fight for our freedom, Afghanistan, the land that we love. Yes, we'll fight